Hi, this is Genie, and this is Genie Goes to the Movies. This is my spoiler review of the movie Brightburn. So, I went to see the film based on the premise that it was going to be a twist on Superman. You know, a boy from outer space winds up on Earth, raised by loving parents, and turns into a superhero. So, the movie spends a lot of time developing the characters, especially Brendan Brayer. He is the Clark Kent in the movie. So, how he was raised from childhood into a loving home was the focus of the first part of the film. His parents, played by Elizabeth Banks and David Denman, essentially play the role of Martha and Jonathan Kent. They really played it well, and you really start to love the family. And the boy, Brandon Brayer, he is being played by Jackson A. Dunn. So Jackson looks innocent, and when he started out, he was this innocent young boy who was bullied in school and who also happens to be extremely smart. What I think would have been better is for the writers to add more scenes about Brandon being bullied. That would have added more justification in his mind to be truly angry at the world. Instead, Jackson turns evil when the spaceship he crashed in activates. I guess he got possessed by the program inside of the ship or the spirit or whatever. So the young actor Jackson A. Dunn really does his best to turn evil in like really subtle, creepy ways. And but what his character really lacks is the real reason why he's angry, aside from just being possessed by the spirit of the ship. So I feel that although the actor who played him really did a good job, it was just like, why did he suddenly turn evil? It was like, for me, they should have added more scenes to show his transition, like from really good to evil. Anyway, let us talk about the body counts and death scenes. And boy, oh boy, I was not expecting the horrible way in which those people died. It was really graphic and bloody, and I think the worst scene was when he killed his uncle by flipping his truck, and then his uncle's jaw just dropped. It was really bloody, even for me. The other horrible death was when he used his laser eyes to zap his dad's skull open. It was pretty gory too. Another shocking death is the deputy's death. So she got banged up and multiple times, and her death was not pleasant. I think the worst and most heartbreaking death scene for me was when he flew up to the sky with his mother and dropped her from what would be a height of between 20,000 to 35,000 feet, because he did encounter a passenger airline at that height. So it was pretty brutal. Although we did not see her mother landing on the ground, it was just enough to see the look of shock on her face. So I love the sheriff, though. He's pretty smart to put two and two together. And I wanted to see more of the sheriff because his character was really well written, even if he just appears in a few scenes. Also, the actor who played him, Gregory Allen Williams, made it seem like his role was a much bigger role, but we know from the trailer and also from the movie that he did die pretty quickly. The aunt and the uncle did a good job in their supporting roles, and they were just not tacked in. Same with the sheriff as well. They are not the usual one-dimensional characters or victims we see in most horror movies. There was like a lighthearted moment when his uncle, played by Matt L. Jones, was just freaking out when he found out that Brandon was a homicidal maniac. His death was the goriest death I've seen in the film. I really was thinking he was going to survive. I mean, even with a broken jaw, but heck, even I thought that the mom was going to survive too. So it's not that kind of film, People you think are going to survive are not going to survive. Apparently, no one survives. What I found out, which was cool, was towards the end when he was swooshing in and out of the house looking for his mother. He was just a blur, which really made sense why his mother would be terrified. So I'm a superhero and a Superman fan as well. And I really don't mind that the filmmaker flipped the Superman superhero story and of all things turned it into a horror flick. I mean, as a fiction writer myself, I'm just amazed as how they came up with a concept. Probably from Zack Snyder's version somehow, where people in Metropolis were terrified of the idea of a powerful alien like Superman. Could be. But as a sci-fi fan, the story is truly cool and truly original. I mean, even if they were heavily inspired by Superman, the way they just turned the story upside down, the concept just works for me. However, I'm not too sure that the general movie-going public is going to embrace it. As a horror and sci-fi fan, I mean, I definitely am looking forward to a sequel, and I hope they do. And thanks for watching and listening to Genie Goes to the Movies.